Hey everyone, Tiago with Classical Controllers here, where I review controllers. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at a very interesting controller. This is going to be the $49.99 GameSir Supernova. This just came out recently. I've been playing with it. I'm going to, take it out of the box again so you see how the experience is like. That's basically how it looks like. This is going to be in both a blue and a pink version, but spoiler alert, you can actually change the nameplates around, the faceplates rather, so you can have the best of both worlds. Say you got two kids, you can switch it around, let each one play with whatever faceplate that they want. So now, taking it out the box, pretty simply, it's nice and protected. It has the little googly eyes there. I'm going to tell you about the features of this controller, if you should buy it, how it compares to other controllers on the market, especially this is the GameSir Cyclone 2, which is not that different in price, and it has a few different things. You can hear the clicky on the Cyclone 2. Really like the clicky. So as we take it out of the box and unbag it here, you can see the controller. Very similar to what an Xbox controller would be. In terms of the shape, it's maybe a little bit wider in the design. So it's somewhere between an Xbox controller and maybe a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. But it does work on the Nintendo Switch, of course, on PC via Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz for the wireless USB dongle, or it can have wired, and it's going to be a 1000 hertz polling rate, so response time and everything is very, very good. And obviously Bluetooth won't be as good, but you can also do Bluetooth on like iOS and Android and things like that. So the first thing you notice about the controller, it really is a very attractive controller, and the build quality is like, that was the first thing that really kind of threw me for a loop. It feels very solid. For a controller that's under $50, it doesn't even feel like a lot of plastic or anything like that. And it comes with a little sticker that you take out. And you can also change these membrane buttons. That's going to be one of the bigger differences between this and something like the Cyclone 2. If you hear the Cyclone 2, these are the face buttons. And it's a lot more of a, aesthetically plain controller, if you will. It looks good, but it's more monochromatic and black. This one has a more design going, but membrane buttons. And I know some of you really like membrane buttons. Some of you really like mechanical buttons with like, little mouse switches in them. So now you have the best of both worlds. But looking at it, looks really nice. It's almost a little bit of a fade effect from the blue, and it goes a little bit black. The faceplate is removable. Of course, it's magnetic, very easy to do. You can just snap it off here. And you can see it, and that reveals sort of the innards of the controller, and the buttons can also come out, so you have to be careful when you do open it up. And basically the face, I keep calling it a nameplate. I guess it technically is. It says GameSir. So the nameplate comes off, and then you do get a nice little, and this, I think it might be something extra that you can buy, depending on which color you choose. You can buy the opposite one, but you can get these different plates. This one, as you can see, is a completely different color, and one of the buttons just fell. I told you the buttons come off, and that's so you can switch them around. Literally switch them around for the Nintendo Switch, because they like to do the A, B in different locations, but that's how it kind of looks like on the faceplate. Okay, so all the buttons were covered. Anytime you drop something, it always just disappears. The screws or anything like that, I guess they call it the screw tacks or something, or buttons, disappears. Like if you drop three, at least one of them rolls somewhere that you can't really see. But as you can see, the buttons come out, so you can pretty much change the layout, however which way you want it. If you want to make it into like an Xbox layout, you basically just drop it in, and you do the switch if you're going to play on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm going to assume, since this has Bluetooth and it works with the Nintendo Switch, it's also going to work with the Nintendo Switch too, which is pretty cool. And then when the buttons are in, you just snap the faceplate. And the faceplate really is what keeps the buttons secure. They're never going to fall out, obviously, if you have the faceplate on. And the faceplate is magnetic, but it's on there pretty hard. It would never just come off. So anyway, that's one of the features that it has. The thumbsticks are not removable. So the thumbsticks will be Hall effect. So that's going to minimize any risk for stick drift. And they click really nicely as well, if you can hear. Very nice and tactile click. most of these third-party controllers now do come with some type of Hall effect or TMR stick, which is great because they perform really well, and you don't have to worry about stick drift or anything like that. And in general, I think people really do seem to like them after you get used to Hall effects because it can be a little bit different. Some FPS players that are used to potentiometers may at first, have a little bit of an adjustment period, but overall, they feel really good. They're very, very nice. So. And then you have your D-pad, which is also a membrane D-pad. So nothing mechanical or clicky. It just sounds like this. Compared, of course, to the Cyclone 2 D-pad. This one is a lot more audible. So that's going to be a lot more tactility there. The clicky face buttons that aren't membrane. Otherwise, they do feel kind of similar, but something that is different than this and much better, going back to the build quality, the grip on this feels really, really nice. The grip, as you can see, goes from the front and all the way to the back. So the controller feels fantastic in your hand. As we're looking at the front, I mean, that's pretty much, you get your standard buttons. You get the little GameSir logo there. So pretty much the standard buttons that you would be used to. There's the minus and plus for the Nintendo Switch. So as we go up, bumpers, these are going to be regular bumpers once again. Nothing, more clicky like maybe the Cyclone 2, regular bumpers. And then when we get to the triggers, they're going to be Hall effect triggers. And they're regular triggers. But there is a trigger stop on both of them. There are little buttons in the back. And you can hear now it's a trigger stop. It doesn't turn into a mechanical switch or anything like that. But they feel pretty good. If you want to play like a racing game, you may want to have the triggers on the full mode, and then a pretty easy swipe of the button. And then you could have a trigger stop if you're going to play something like Call of Duty or an FPS game. So that's pretty cool. The Cyclone 2, of course, does have the clicky switch triggers, as you can hear. But that's about what you get. And, the Cyclone 2 specifically, you can go behind them and also move back, if you can hear, into a regular full trigger. So this one as well does have it. The mechanism is different. It's on the trigger itself. A little harder to push than on the Supernova. But these triggers on the Cyclone 2 are certainly better because you have the little mouse click. So if that's what you like, maybe this might be the better controller. But overall, this one is pretty good for a trigger stop. You're not going to get that little mouse click or the switch click, but it is pretty nice. And then if you just need to play with regular triggers, they feel great. The material feel is fantastic. The response is nice. No issues there. As we go to the back of the controller, as you join me on this journey around the Supernova, it's almost like we're going in outer space. You're going to have the most important feature for some. That's going to be these, not important because it's clicky, but because it's back buttons. So you can map these to any of the face buttons, any of the other buttons on the controller. And very, very nice tactility. Very, very nice. Compared to the Cyclone 2, these feel like you can feel they're more plastic. This one does feel a little bit higher quality. Just it has a nicer snap, if you will. But they both do have, the two back buttons that you can map, and it's like really recessed in there. But it's very easy to actuate and press. No issues at all. And it is only two buttons, so you're not going to have any ability to do four buttons. But on a controller like this, for many people, I think that's really more than sufficient. So that's how the back looks. And you see, again, you got that back grip. And then you could also connect it with the included charger. So these are always really, really great because not only can you, connect the controller itself and it looks great on its charger, you can also use it as sort of your USB receiver. In the back here, you have your space for the USB dongle as well as for a connection to your computer. So that way, it's still going to take up only one USB, port on your computer, but you can charge this at the same time. Use it as your receiver, so that way it's always charged, and that's really cool for $50 and under. You do get a lot of utility, and I really do like this USB charging stand. I like it a little more actually than the one that comes with the Cyclone 2. The Cyclone 2 one does look cooler because it's this sort of stand, but sometimes it can be a little tricky to place it on. It's very stable, but I do like the other more solid stand. So that's certainly pretty interesting. And they're not really interchangeable. You can't put the other one on this one, but this one is a very nice, simple stand, and it does look very good and it's very sturdy as well. And then obviously you have the RGB on the controller, part of the aesthetics. It does look really, really nice. It's almost like some other controllers that you've seen like that with the RGB effects on the side. It really, really makes the controller pop. Very, very gorgeous. Very nice. And then aside from the aesthetics, which I think look very, very good, and it's very interesting, very well done, the material build quality and the feel in the hands is fantastic. Like the controller feels solid. It's not a light controller. It does feel a little heftier than this one that has maybe a little bit more plastic. And this one, even the grip is just a textured plastic, while this one is like a rubberized grip. And I love the sound of these paddles, but this controller, the in the hand feel is certainly betrays its price of $50. It feels like a much more expensive controller. I wish Xbox controllers felt this good, and Xbox controllers already feel very, very good. So this is at least as good as the stock brand new Xbox controller, if not more. So very, very good controller. And, with the Hall effects, the 1000 hertz polling rate, you're going to have very good performance and membrane buttons, and it has a trigger stop. So it has pretty much everything that you would want in a controller. The only exception would be if you want something a little more clicky, then you probably go to something like this, the Cyclone 2, because this is going to give you the triggers that are more of a mouse click, and obviously the face buttons as well, which I personally do like. I do like the clicky, but this is one of the best membrane controllers that I've played with, certainly for under $50. It's pretty exceptional, and the in-the-hand feel is very, very good. All right, guys, so let me know what you think about this controller. Is this something that you would think about trying? Is it something that interests you? Do you prefer something a little clickier? Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.